Hey, what's up, guys? It is Gun Thug here, and I'm bringing you another DPP match from this wonderful, wonderful season of PSL, in which the theme of the season seems to be me not winning any fucking matches. Usually I'd say in the past I do a fair amount of commentaries on my own matches, but I can't even watch my matches again. It's a mixture of horrible preparedness, poor play, or just debilitating RNG. Here we are. I figured this was a really good matchup, I thought, from this week. I thought there were some nuanced plays here. I showed a very rare NikhilR loss last week in my first commentary of the season, and so stay tuned to see which one this is. If you're watching this, if you're one of the 5 or 6 people that actually watches these things, you probably already know who wins. And so I wanted to showcase kind of Nick playing. I thought he played well last week, obviously, and we talked about that a little bit, but this is certainly Nick at the top of his game, as usual. LeJovi puts up a great fight, another very solid player, so let's dive in. I hope the music's not going to be an issue again this time, but we will see. The song I selected, all right, because you have to select a song. The song I selected is called Silent Machine. So I don't know if it's going to blare into some fucking techno music like 3 minutes in or what the deal is, but let's see what we got. We're going to play music off here. Let's go ahead and get into this match. We start with an Uxie lead against an Empoleon. Probably a good matchup for Nick here just because he knows he's probably getting rocks up. I mean, both sides are going to get rocks up here. So this is, you see a lot of leads in DPP where both teams are going to be able to go ahead and throw rocks up right off the bat, and then it's just a determination of who's going to get the momentum. Because, getting early match momentum in a game without 2 stall teams or 1 stall team or what have you, early match momentum can absolutely dictate the outcome of the game. So we see, like I said, trade rocks right off the bat. Uxie doing what it does best and dropping those yawns. They are contagious. Forcing a switch from Nick, so that's going to go ahead and give LeJovi that early momentum. Forcing Flygon out here. Good U-turn, keeps the momentum and goes into Bronzong. So right away, if you're Nick, you're thinking, okay, a lot of times you see defensive Zongs that'll throw rocks up, right? But Uxie had rocks, and you very rarely see 2 stealth rock users. So you're thinking there's a lot of different things this Bronzong could be running. Are we seeing some sort of Trick Room Bronzong set? Like with an iron ball, something along those lines? Are we seeing a screens Bronzong? Are we seeing some sort of weather setter? And I think Nick is just about to find that out. He misses the fire blast there. I've been noticing Nick using that Flygon a lot actually this season. Either Life Orb Flygon with mixed special and physical attacks, or just the physical one that does carry that fire blast to catch things like Skarmory Fortress and Bronzong. So he misses it. That wouldn't have killed. Bronzong's pretty incredibly bulky. It certainly would have put a nice dent in Bronzong, but definitely wouldn't have killed. Bronzong's able to get the Rain Dance up, and all of a sudden Nick's thinking, okay, there's a good chance this is either a Rain team, an entire Rain team, or it's just a team that has at least a small component of it devoted to Rain. So Bronzong's going to go ahead and throw a Gyro down. Probably should have seen. I mean, if you're sitting on Flygon there, and he's got Empoleon. Empoleon does not really fear Bronzong. I mean, it would have been a stretch for LeJovi to Earthquake on a Flygon, not knowing where Nick was going to go. The Gyro Ball comes in. Very safe switch for Nick, and he's got those rain-boosted Hydros now. So here comes the Earthquake. He is able to chip away at Empoleon a little bit. He's going to hold on to that Bronzong in case he needs it again later and go into a very safe switch for Empoleon, which is Ludicolo. So if I'm Nick and I see Ludicolo, I'm thinking this is more than just a part of a Rain team, because generally if you see like a partial Rain team, you'll have a setter and then a Kingdra, or a setter and then a Kabuto, something along those lines. I think when you start to see Ludicolo, you start to think maybe it's a little bit more dedicated of a Rain team. So T-Tar is going to come out. T-Tar is it's almost counterintuitive that Tyranitar, a rock Pokemon weak to rain, water, would be a good answer to Rain teams. But just every time he comes in, he's going to set Sandstorm. He's going to get rid of that Rain. He's going to cut those guys' speeds in half, the Swift Swimmers, and just going to be an invaluable kind of plug and play on Rain teams. So comes in, bounces right out, goes to Roserade, predicting some sort of water or grass move. Bronzong is going to come out, and so luckily, because of his rain boosted hydro earlier. Bronzong is not in a position where he can do anything. Roserade is going to go ahead and lay spikes, and Zong's going to go ahead and get the explosion off. So I think that Nick is thinking, okay, Zong is potentially able to come in. I mean, I don't know. With Bronzong at that low a health at 16%, I think the play was always to sack Bronzong there from Jovi. Because he comes back in again, he's going to be at 10%. Zong is outsped by just about everything. And there's very little that it's going to be able to set up rain on at 10% health. So I don't think it would have made a lot of sense for Jovi to switch out there and try to eat an HP fire. You know, possibly he goes to Uxie there, you know, and tries to eat an HP fire, or I mean, even a grass move probably would have killed Bronzong maybe at 16%. So, you know, I think obviously we have 2020 hindsight, but I think it was pretty obvious that Jovi was going to stay in there. I don't think he needed to explode. I think that a gyro ball has a pretty good chance of killing Roserade there. Depends on the set. You know, certainly a slower Roserade's not going to die to that. Zong could have stayed in and tried to set up rain again, would have been interesting, but that obviously is canceled out by T-Tar pretty quickly. So, you know, now that I think about it, Flygon may be a Scarf set here. He's going to drop a Fire Blast, just kind of keeping himself safe. You know, doesn't want to lock himself into Earthquake, doesn't want to lock himself into Outrage, and he's going to go ahead and Fire Blast again. Misses on the Uxie. Uxie also a rain setter here. We see now that this is quite the unique Flygon. He was, I think, trying to bluff some sort of choice item there. He does drop the Toxic, though. That's going to hopefully come in handy later on the Uxie. Jovi's able to keep momentum, though, knowing that Uxie's slower. Gets that slow U-turn out to Kingdra. And now he's in business, but, you know, the nice thing about Nick is he's only going to lose one Pokemon here, and then that rain's going to go away, thanks to Tyranitar. So, goes to Rotom here. The Hydro Pump misses. That's certainly unfortunate because that kills. Well, and then you see, really, it didn't make much of a difference because Tyranitar is always going to come in here, cancel that rain out. And here we got Tyranitar into Uxie. This is looks like a sack here, probably hoping for anything but Dragon Dance Tyranitar. Yeah, Uxie's going to come in. Uxie's basically going to set up rain again, which was a good call there. He could have yawned, certainly. That would have put a timer on Tyranitar, but you're risking the Lumberry at that point, which is definitely an option on Dragon Dance T-Tar. So let's see. Uxie is going to stand. It does get rain up. It's going to throw the yawn down on Ludicolo. And then that's going to, or sorry, not Ludicolo. Sorry, that's from earlier. So Lucario. Interesting turn of events there. So he's going to Rain Dance there, and then rather than stay in and finish him off with Tyranitar, he brings in Lucario. That's an interesting choice. I don't know why he doesn't just finish off Uxie right here rather than taking that yawn on Lucario, knowing the Toxic's going to kill Uxie anyway. Maybe he just didn't want the yawn on Tyranitar. And certainly the option to come in with Tyranitar on that next turn after Kingdra does its thing here is appealing, but he loses his Lucario. At this point, he loses his Lucario without really... I mean, okay, so let's just 2020 hindsight this a little bit. He stays in right here at 2 times attack and 2 times speed, and he kills Uxie. You know, that's going to force Jovi to bring in Kingdra, I think, is the only thing that outspeeds Tyranitar with 2 times speed. In the rain, obviously. So that forced him to bring in Kingdra. At that point, Nick is free to sack his Tyranitar. He's free to sack his Flygon. He's free to sack his Lucario. You know, I think that I do like this play here of going to Lucario because that ensures him that in sacking a Pokemon to Kingdra, he is also going to be able to take Kingdra out. So I see what's going on. If he had left Tyranitar in, not only is Kingdra going to be able to fire off a Hydro Pump and kill something, he's also going to be able to fire off a second Hydro Pump when Tyranitar comes in to cancel out the rain. So that was absolutely a good play by Nick. I don't know what I'm thinking. He does lose his Lucario, but again, takes Kingdra out in the process. We're down to 2v2. The Crest comes out. We see now, and you do see Cresselia on a fair amount of rain teams because its primary recovery, Moonlight, is it needs Sandstorm off the field in order to get that. So here's a very interesting part of the match. It was much discussed after the match, and I think that everyone did what they could here. Flygon on Cresselia, obviously. He's going to go ahead and stay in. Nick is going to stay in an Earthquake here. And I think it did come down to a 50-50. So, if Flygon instead, which we know it is Toxic, Fire Blast, Earthquake, probably some sort of dragon move, or Roost at that point, he doesn't have U-Turn. I think we would have seen U-Turn right there, obviously, if he had it. Jovi can't stay in with Cresselia and Psychic or Calm Mind or HP Fire or Moonlight. I mean, any of his potential moves right there are just stopped in their tracks by Tyranitar coming in. So his only option with Cresselia there, having not revealed that Dugtrio, however, knowing that Nick, I don't know if he knows this or not, but Nick uses a lot of these kind of teams. Nick has had a lot of success in PSL using Cresselia Dugtrio teams. So I think if you're Nick and you see this team right here with 5 revealed, you have a pretty good feeling that Dugtrio's in the back. Okay, so to bring T-Tar in there, which is just the obvious play on Cresselia, I think would have been foolish on his part. And so I still think it's the only play Jovi could have made there. He does go ahead and Earthquake, which was an incredibly a good play by Nick. But again, I think it was the right play. I think it was the play that his odds showed the highest chance of winning. I mean, what happens if Cress stays in there? He maybe gets a Calm Mind up or something along those lines. Flygon's still going to outspeed. Flygon's still probably going to drop a Toxic on it. He still will have the option to go to Tyranitar after that mispredicted Earthquake and cancel out that rain. So I think that overall that last couple turns was very interesting. You like seeing kind of cerebral mind games at the end of the match. Well played by Nick, well played by Jovi, another fantastic DPP game, and that's going to conclude my commentary for this week. So hope to get you another one coming up this coming week, but hope you liked it, and stay tuned for more next week. All right, see y'all later.